Neil Jeffers. I'm the Chief Pilot of London's Air Ambulance. My role is to provide aviation side of the job, so aircrew and pilots that are suitably trained to deliver our medical teams to the side of patients as safely and as quickly as we can. It involves flying, of course, thank goodness. It also involves a degree of admin and regulation and etc. that you might expect from a service like this. Okay, so the day starts relatively early, about 6 o'clock as I move forward to RAF Northolt, where the aircraft is based. We spend about an hour in the morning preparing the aircraft. All the pilots are trained to check the aircraft. So we'll check it, make sure it's got the equipment and the resources we need to fly. Then we'll take off from Northolt, fly to the Royal London Hospital, where we'll meet our 2 doctors, our paramedic, and also the fire crew. As soon as we've got there, we need to check the aircraft again. They need to check their kit, and we'll go downstairs for a joint briefing. From there, we're on standby, and we're on standby for the rest of the day. And I think one of the things I quite like about it is, we're sitting in the office having a cup of tea, and we could be somewhere else in London within 10 minutes. It takes us about 4.5 minutes, or maybe 4 minutes to get airborne, and we can race across London. Our average flight time is about 6 minutes. So within 10 minutes, we can be somewhere else helping the people of London when we need to. Yeah, there have been some big changes. The first question we had to ask ourselves was, how could we protect our crew, which was not only the doctors, the paramedics, which is obvious, but the pilots and also the fire crew from the coronavirus, and also the patients. If we unsuspectingly had the virus, would we transmit it to our patients? So we had to think really quickly about how we would do that. And we had to come up with a really safe concept to begin with so we can continue our day-to-day work. And what we have to do now is that we've developed through our engineering company as well, is we have a screen between the doctors and paramedics in the back and the pilots in the front. Now this might sound a little bit precious of the pilots, but actually, if the cockpit of the aircraft got contaminated, it actually can be quite a difficult thing to disinfect. All the switches and dials and screens don't take kindly to wet wipes and water and fluids and alcohol and UV light, etc., etc. So we had to think about a way to how to protect the cockpit, and putting a screen up between the two was the one. We've just developed processes now for carrying patients. And the pilots have had to learn, we've always worn our disposable gloves, but we've had to learn how to put on surgical gowns and FFP3 masks, which we've all heard about now, and glasses, and protect ourselves as best as we can. Another unusual effect of COVID and the lockdown has been the difference in landing sites. Quite often in the summer, the weather's been brilliant. Quite often in the summer, we find it tricky to land in parks, but of course parks have been relatively closed and empty. So we found that landing sites have been a lot easier to get into. We haven't had to use the sirens that we have on the aircraft and flash the landing lights to get people out of the way. Unfortunately, one of the downsides is a lot of the places that we can land, like schools and premises, etc., have locked their gates, and there's just nobody around. So sometimes we found ourselves landing in schools and having to unfortunately use our bolt croppers to get out of these schools and get the team as quickly as we can to the patient. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword when it comes to landing sites during COVID. I think there's a great opportunity for him for me to thank, if I may, lots of people that have supported us. I think in 2 streams. I think there are people that have provided, unsolicited food, toiletries, and all sorts of things to the helipad, and that's been really important because some of the fire crew haven't been able to get home. It's difficult to find food in the early days, so to have those resources sent up the helipad has been absolutely brilliant. But from a day-to-day, we still need to do our job, and to have people talking about us, seeing what we're doing, asking questions, raising money. So for always, forever, we'll thank everybody that supports us.